Hello, 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 brothers and sisters. We're very, very happy to welcome you to a new edition of our show titled Speak of Africa. Some of you were asking us, where does the name Speak of Africa come from? Do you mean Voice of Africa? Yes, we are the voice of Africans. We are the voice of all of you Africans who want change in the motherland. We took this name from our understanding of William Shakespeare's history plays, King Henry IV, where they were talking about Africa as the land of gold and a lot of minerals. They were saying the Europeans were speaking of Africa. So we should not let them speak of Africa. We should be the ones to speak of Africa. And that's why we're inviting you, we're challenging you to come to this conversation. Let's hold a conversation on Africa. Let us speak of Africa. Let not let people in the West speak of Africa. We are Africans, so we should be the ones to speak of Africa. Speak of Africa, therefore, is the voice of Africa. So thank you very much for watching this show. We're always happy whenever we have to have this rendezvous to meet you again. There are so many stories breaking out, and we're here to share the stories with you. Then some of you too were asking us, making suggestions of stories. Please, feel free to suggest stories. Feed us with stories. That's why we're here. This is your channel. We have a team, and we try to report on the news for you, but we think you can really help us improve when you send us information. You can send us information through WhatsApp, and we will really use it. If you have any ideas or stories, you can even go directly to YouTube and put your comments on most of the videos. We'll receive those comments because we read those comments daily. So when we see the comments, we're going to respond and do what you want, because as we say, this is the voice of Africa. So now we want you to speak of Africa. Before we begin the show of today, there are so many stories breaking out. We don't really have that much time. So what we always do, we try to compress this information, then present it to you succinctly so that we don't waste a lot of your time. We know your time is very valuable, and we don't want to waste your time, okay? So for the story of today, we really want to start by expressing our sympathy to the people of the Democratic Republic of Congo. The mountain Nyiragongo erupted, and a lot of people around the Goma area were really running away, and we really feel sorry for them, and we really want to express our sympathy for what they are going through. This volcanic eruption is a terrible thing, and we sympathize with our brothers and sisters in the Congos, and they should know that we're with them, we're praying for them, and we wish them well, and we pray that God should take care of them. So next, we're going to say thank you to all our subscribers. Because of you, we're having more people watching this show. You've expressed a lot of love to us, saying you love our show, but don't just say you love our show. Share information with us that can make this show better, because we want this show to be a Pan-African show so that more people from all over Africa are watching this show. That's what we want, because we want a united Africa, an Africa where there will be problems, but a better Africa of tomorrow. That's our goal. The African project is to build a better Africa, an Africa that is united. It's true, we're always going to have problems in Africa. Of course, there is no paradise. There is no roses without thorns, okay? That's what they used to tell us when we were reading poetry. Whenever you see roses, just know that you're going to find thorns in those roses. So it's the same thing with the African nation. We don't want to live in a utopia, but we want to live in a better world, a world where there is freedom and democracy. And this is what most of the people of Africa yearn for. When you look at what is happening this week, how is Africa doing? Well, our people are hungry. The hunger, we use the term hunger in a metaphorical sense. Hunger is like a metaphor intended to create metaphysical rebellion. When the African people say enough is enough, we want to change our condition as human beings, we want to live better, we need freedom. This can only happen when we start respecting the rule of law. Much of what is happening in Africa today, the problems we are handling every day, result from absence of the rule of law, bad governance. If we can have a system where there's a rule of law, then you will have fewer problems. Because when you look at some of the things we're going to tell you today, our people are hungry. When we say they are hungry, it means they are tired of the neo-colonial forces that make their life hell every day. And this is why they are fighting back. Initially, the people perceive our people to be like prey. They are hunters, they are predators, they prey on our people. Today, our people are saying enough is enough, we're not going to take it anymore, and we want to fight back, we want to push back most of these neo-colonial forces who install dictators in our homeland to keep us in check, to keep us in slavery, to keep us in bondage. So that's what is really happening now when you look at what is happening in Africa this week. We'll start the story by looking at Ambazonia. We love talking about Ambazonia because this is one of the results of failed colonialism, a failed colonial experiment. A country that was supposed to be free, but because of the French machinations, their freedom was aborted. They didn't get the freedom they wanted. They were forced to join La République du Cameroon, and ever since, La République du Cameroon has engaged on a program of assimilation. We have a very long video which we're going to share with you, which will really explain to you why the people of Ambazonia are really fighting and protesting. They are fighting a war of independence, okay, against France and La République. It's because they are tired of marginalization since independence. When you look at the kind of democracy that flourished during those early days,
glory to the Father for making our nation a joy forevermore. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in grace in easy harmony. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God be the watchman of the nation. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in grace in easy harmony. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God be the watchman of the nation.
when the people look back, they look back in anger because they feel they have lost something vital. A part of themselves is gone. So that's why they are fighting every day. And when you look at what is happening the last few weeks, they've scored a lot of successes against La République du Cameroon. Today, Ambazonia has become like a hell to most of the people who are fighting them. Instead of being hunted, they are hunting the hunter.
Good morning, Acquire LGA. Good morning, Manu County. Good morning, Ambazonian. This one, General Fear No Bullets. Yes, now they harvest this way Alpha Immortals. They harvest on the 16th of May for Acquire Town. And they harvest this. And I take my eye when I see them. On I'm gonna see and they have a soup. Yeah, I'm gonna go and come. Now they send support for these boys. What we need a support. This stick need granite, plenty granite. I believe so in the days ahead now we'll get more result than this one. As we go, as we come, no scratch. All man go come back, check. One for all.
All for one.
All for one.
One for all.
Tiboya.
When you look at what we said many months ago, we said eventually these guys are going to pick up arms, but eventually the mercenaries are going to lose the fire in the belly to fight. And that's what is happening. When you look at what is happening in Ambazonia today, some of the La République guys are really crying. We have a video that can show you police officers. The Ambazonian guys burned their headquarters, and these guys were left in the open so that they can feel the pain that most of these people feel when the Bia thugs and militia burn their houses, where do you think these people go to? They go to the forest. They don't have any place to live. So you're forcing them to live like animals. So this is really sad. So you can see a video of most of these police officers from La République du Cameroon crying because the Ambazonia Restoration Forces have burned their headquarters. So they don't have any place to sit and plan evil. Okay? Now, it looks like the Ambazonia environment has become an inferno. From Ambazonia, the restoration forces have learned to make IEDs, and this is changing the ground game. The guys now can manipulate. Even the guys from La République who try to dismantle some of these IEDs, they end up being blown away. Some of them end up getting killed. So it's really making things tough for most of these guys. But you can see a lot of the Ambazonian guys rejoicing because for now they feel like they have the upper hand in the fight. They are very motivated, and you should know the international community has not really done a good job. The international community has abandoned the people of Ambazonia, the people of southern Cameroons. They were thinking that maybe in 2 days, the Bia, with the support of the French, will kill these people and they will silence them. But after over 4 years, the people are fighting like Spartans. They are dying, but they are fighting. They are dying and fighting. They are dying and fighting. So which is why you can see some of the information that we'll bring to you this week. You can see the people rejoicing, but the video can really tell you exactly why they are declaring independence. They are declaring independence because of marginalization for so many years since independence. They did not really obtain real independence. They obtained but flag independence. Unfortunately, La République that they joined was also not really an independent country. Amadou Ahidjo, who was supposed to be the first president of the country, was handpicked by the French. After the Prime Minister, André Marine-Bida, was overthrown because he did not want to sign a pact with the French to sell his country to the French came up with excuses and sidelined him and brought a marionette, a puppet called Amadou Ahidjo, so that Ahidjo would do their bidding. Ahidjo brought a new constitution back in 1972 and forced the people to go with it, destroyed the federalist system. So this is what is really making most of these people angry. And what has become of all of this? When you look at the news today, La République has just become like a land of thieves, a place for the Alibabas. Look at the pandemic. The pandemic is wreaking havoc all over the world. The money that the international community had put together to fight this disease in La République du Cameroon, this money has been embezzled. And already the presidency and the courts, the kangaroo courts, are trying to try some of these people who have stolen this money. But this is just a joke because this is not really working. It's really sad because it's a country of thieves. When you see your boss steal from the country, you learn that to steal is a good thing, which is the sad thing in this part of the world. Nothing really works, and you can see even a few days ago, one of you guys sent us a picture of 5 bandits who went to steal at a gas station, a gas filling station in Soua, a part of Yaoundé. Then, of course, what even made more fun is the plane. They said, oh, because of precipitation, the plane lost its way, and you can see the video of the plane in La République du Cameroon. Instead of being on the tarmac, it ran off into the bushes. What a disgrace. So it's really sad when you look at this. Then we also have another video. You can see this video of one of the military guys talking to his soldiers. These soldiers are abandoning their weapons. Then they are also trading these weapons for cash. So the war effort in Ambazonia has become a money-making effort also to these La République soldiers. So they don't want to fight because they don't see why they are dying. They don't want to be dying for the French. So most of them now, they just take their weapons and they sell them to the Ambazonian guys. Sometimes they just abandon those weapons on the ground and the Ambazonian guys come and pick these weapons and use them to fight them.
De l'Est, connaissant les services que je rends, a dû décider que je devienne le commissaire de sécurité publique de Mouloulou, et cela a été validé par monsieur le délégué général à la sécurité nationale. Aujourd'hui, le constat est grave. Au niveau des barrières, tracasseries, inédouanes. Dans votre comportement même, un comportement qui laisse à désirer. Vous, par exemple, vous, gardien de la paix principal, comment il s'appelle? N'est-ce pas? Vous-même, vous êtes témoin de ce que vous avez dormi avec une arme militaire. Vous êtes témoin, non?
So this is bringing a lot of low morale to the La République camp. So this is really sad, and they feel bad because they're really losing the war. It's really sad, and we don't know. We told you before, war is not a good thing. You're going to pay the price, because the French are to blame in all of this, because if they did not come to Africa to stay and change the people's way of life, if they had left the way the English left, we'll have fewer problems in Africa. But the French have decided to stay. As they themselves say it, without Africa, France would be a third-rate country. But that's their problem. Today, our people are ready to fight the French because they don't want the French to continue occupying our lands, to take our resources. They are tired of it. And that's just what the French are doing in most of the former colonies. So neo-colonialism is rife. When you read Kwame Nkrumah's book, Neo-Colonialism, okay, it really teaches you exactly the way the French operate. It's very, very true to life. When you look at what the French do, they really take the resources of a country. And that's what they did in the case of La République. La République is not alone. If you even look at Chad, it's the same thing happening. When Idris Deby was killed by the rebels, what happened? Why did democracy not work in this country? The French hijacked democracy again, because the French don't want democracy to happen. If democracy happens, it means the French will not have free oil. They take the oil from the people for nothing. Then they turn around and tell you that, oh, the people are poor. The people are poor because the French people are stealing their resources. That's exactly what is happening in most of these African countries, the Francophone countries. If France were not stealing their resources, the people would be able to be rich. But France destabilizes them, then imposes a dictator who will not let them speak when France is stealing their resources. So this is really the dirty game the French governments have been playing for so many years on the African continent, which is why we're even happy that in Central African Republic, at least the Russians are fighting the French there. So this may even bring some change, which we think is going to help our people. Okay? Another story broke today as we're working on the video to present to you. We read the story of France, PNB Paribas, the largest bank in France, and what the judges are really saying that this bank is not a good bank. They are involved in money laundering. You know about the Patriot Act, the way they place money that is ill-gotten, then they try to mix it up with good money. And this is just exactly what the French government is doing. And the judges in France were really against it, because a bank, by its very nature, is supposed to follow the rules of anti-money laundering. But the Bongo family in Gabon have been taking advantage of some of these loopholes with ill-gotten wealth. So for the first time, a French judge is running after these criminals from Africa with their friends. As I say, bribery and corruption is like a dance. It's a dance like the tango. It takes two to tango. So we cannot blame only the French. We also blame the Africans who participate in this evil dance to steal from their people. We hope our people can learn. Look at what is happening in Botswana. It's a relatively small country, but it is a good country because they don't really have a perfect democracy, but it's working. They have many regimes. They keep changing governments. Things are working well. Okay? Why can the leaders of the Francophone countries not emulate what Cyrus Kama set up in Botswana? It's been working. I know most of you heard about Botswana for the first time when you watch this movie, The Gods Are to Blame. This movie about the Kalahari Desert and the Bushmen. So that must have taught you something about Botswana. But there's more to Botswana. It's a land of diamonds. Even though they had problems with AIDS at one point, but you could see the way they came up with a system to eradicate AIDS, and it's working. Then democracy is also working in this country because you have a multi-party system and you always have change of governments. I know some people complain that the freedom of speech is not enough, but I know it will never be enough because freedom of speech has to be regulated, because you cannot have the freedom to slap your neighbor. No, we have to limit the freedom, okay? So we want the other countries in Africa, especially the Francophone countries, to be like Botswana, where there is a rule of law, where there is good governance. But the French don't want this to happen, and which is why even in Senegal, another French colony, there's trouble. You can see Ousmane Sonko wanted to go to Togo for a meeting to discuss the French franc, to do away with the French franc, but Macky Sall, a French lackey, will not let him go. So what happens? Now there's people in Senegal are protesting every day. In fact, we'll have a very long video, which we don't even have the time to show you. You can see how the Senegalese people are taking power into their own hands to protest against a French lackey such as Macky Sall. You can take a minute and watch the video.
Donc il y a un gendarme qui a été brûlé vif à Bignona, je vous confirme l'information. Donc tous les intérêts français sont actuellement menacés au Sénégal. Le pourquoi, beaucoup se le demandent, pourquoi les Sénégalais attaquent les intérêts français. Parce que les Sénégalais disent que c'est Macron qui est derrière Macky Sall. La raison pour laquelle tous les Français et tous les intérêts français sont en train d'être menacés au Sénégal. Tous les Auchans sont en train de brûler au Sénégal. Tous les Auchans ont été attaqués, saccagés et sont en train de brûler au Sénégal.
And you can see the people are really angry. They really want to take power into their own hands. They are against French interests. So the French, anti-French sentiment is very, very high. Well, the people don't want to be puppets of the French anymore. So they want to have a free reign. They want to live their lives the way they want it. If this can happen, it will be really great. So we've told you a lot about Senegal, but what about Nigeria?
Hey yo, Shape, I thought you was gonna take me to this place so I could get my taxes done. You know I'm trying to buy a new house. What's up?
Let's get it on. If you're searching for a house, call up my man Prince Ojong, the best in real estate. Take it from your guy Shape. When I say his services are the best in the states where he's born, he even take care of your tax forms, fat refunds. So come, get your business done. Consultations, financial organization, fast processing, no waiting. This man is amazing. The Prince.
Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131.
We've not really ignored Nigeria because the French also have their hands in Nigeria. In fact, there's even a lot of suspicion. Last week, we even showed you a video of a Nigerian lady who was really complaining about the French role in Nigeria. She was just saying that Nigeria is not a French colony. It has never been. So they don't really understand why President Buhari is bringing France into Nigeria to take the resources of the country. And there's even suspicion that the French are also sponsoring Boko Haram, because Boko Haram is so powerful. When you talk about Nigeria in the news today, Boko Haram is back in the news, big time.
So the message could be relayed to the French authorities wherever they are in France, that Nigeria is indeed a sovereign country, and as such, any form or attempt to compromise our territorial integrity will be resisted wholeheartedly. At this point, I want to stress, Nigeria was not colonized by France. Therefore, they have no business coming to toy with our lives here. We are aware that some vested interest was not happy with the gains made by the Nigerian government and especially our dear President Muhammad Buhari in the fight against terrorism. As such, they began providing logistic support under a cover called humanitarian whatever to the Boko Haram fighters. They also assumed the role of the mouthpiece of the Boko Haram terrorist group. They use their state medium to promote their nefarious activities and to give them the needed psychological boost, claiming human rights for people that have been raised, trained to kill fellow Nigerians by them.
Abubakar Sheko, the Boko Haram leader, it was rumored that he has been killed in a fight with a splinter group, the Islamic State. But from what we gathered from a lot of the research we did, he was wounded. He tried to blow himself up, but it did not succeed. So he's still alive. So how is this going to affect insecurity in Nigeria? We just think things will get worse, as already you can see. This week, news broke that Ibrahim Atahiru, the chief of staff, the Nigerian Army chief of staff, was killed in a plane crash. And this news was really big. This guy basically came on board in January. And Buhari brought him as a guy who can really beat back the terrorists. He boasted when he went to Akwa Ibom and met the governor of the state. He was bragging about his role against Oduduwa Republic and Biafra. But what happened? He said those two will never exist so long as he's alive. So now, the way the world works, life is really funny. So now he's gone. But Biafra yearnings and Oduduwa yearnings are still here. So we'll do some research on Oduduwa. We told you this last week. We'll continue our research. We have a lot of information that is coming because you guys really want us to talk a lot about the Oduduwa movement. We are gathering a whole lot of information which will really enthrall you. We'll really break things down so that you understand why all of this is happening. And the sad thing is, Oduduwa is not alone. The Biafra thing too is growing. It's growing. Now the leader of the Biafra has teamed up with the Amba guys to form an alliance. How is this going to work? It's going to create more strife, okay? It's going to create more strife. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has teamed up with Cho Ayaba of the AGOV. So now they're going to start fighting most of these states who are suppressing them. So this will make things even worse for the region. It is because most of these leaders listen to their colonial masters. If they listen to the voice of the people, if they listen to the voice of Africa, the African nation, if they listen to us on this show, Speak of Africa, they will know that there is a better way to fight insecurity in this part of the world. Because militarization has failed. You cannot solve insecurity with militarization alone. Why? Today, the state does not have a monopoly on force. In the past, the nation state had a monopoly on the use of force. But that monopoly does not exist anymore. Because of the unending conflicts, weapons have been washed ashore, and a lot of bad elements have collected these weapons, and they are using these weapons now to engage in criminal enterprise. Crime pays, so why should they let it go? You see young guys who don't really have a future. The government has not really created programs for them to educate themselves and have better jobs, a bright future. So now they look at crime as a very good enterprise. They engage in it, they make a lot of money. They kidnap people, they kill people. It's profitable. So the only way you can make crime not to pay is to make it unprofitable. But right now, most of the leaders of these African countries, especially the French countries, plus President Buhari, who is taking Nigeria into the French orbit, they just believe that if you use force, you crush your enemy, you won't let them speak. We talked to you before about Boko Haram, and we said the government was using the wrong approach to resolve the Boko Haram problem. And today, when we look at it, you can see that we are right. We said militarization is going to fail. Because militarization is just one way to solve a problem. But you cannot use force to solve a problem. You can use a carrot, and that's something that has never been tried. All this time, they are using the stick. But usually, a smart father knows that even in a house, you don't only have to use a stick, you also use a carrot. Why not use a carrot and try to deal with Boko Haram? Because calling these people terrorists and ugly names is not helping the situation. Things are getting worse. The people need to sit at the table, then decide their own future. Self-determination is a birthright. The African people need to have that right. So don't listen to colonial powers. They are deceiving you because when Africa is in disarray, they steal the resources and go away. So if you want to live in peace, then you have to allow your neighbor also to live in peace. But when you destabilize the home of your neighbor, the neighbor too wants to destabilize your own home. So that's the sad thing we're going to see now in this part of the world. Militarization alone is not going to work. Let's look at a fresh approach to dealing with insecurity in Nigeria and in other parts of Africa. Militarization is just one way. That approach so far has failed. It was Albert Einstein who said, only a fool will continue doing the same thing and getting bad results, then he continues doing it. If you're intelligent as a leader, if you know that militarization is not working, why not try a fresh approach? Why not look for a dialogue? Bring these people to the table. Stop calling them terrorists or bandits. They are bandits because they get frustrated. They realize that these politicians are tools of colonial masters. They don't listen to the voice of the people. The people want to speak. They want to decide the way they should be governed. They want to decide their own affairs. But these dictators who have been handpicked by the French and some other colonial masters do not want the people to speak. When the people get frustrated, then they realize that the only way they can make themselves heard is by taking up arms against their masters. Now they said they don't want to listen to the masters anymore. A slave gets to a point where they say, enough is enough. I will not listen to my master anymore. So thank you very much for watching this show. We've given you a whole lot of food for thought. Subscribe, tell your friends to subscribe, and please contribute news to us. We want to use this news because we want the show to be better. Thank you very much. May God bless you.
Is your EMR EHR COVID-19 ready? If not, you do not know what you are missing. Why do you suffer in silence? Be smart. Turn to Alexia HTC today. Alexia HTC is the leader in virtual solution and communication technology in these times of pandemic crisis. When the unexpected happens, who are you going to call? Alexia HTC. Come and see how Alexia HTC Cloud Communications are enabling your fellow healthcare providers to consult with patients virtually and making big money. Alexia HTC also enables your employees to work remotely during the COVID-19 crisis. Are your employees safe? Do not jeopardize the health and safety of your patients and practice. What can Alexia HTC do for you? Alexia HTC is the new Colossus, the sister of physicians, who gives you back liberty, that is, the freedom to practice medicine your way. Vivacious virtual visits wherever you please. Amazing e-prescribing. Quick access to patient information. Easy access to medical records from other providers. Rapid drug allergy checks. Integrated lab tests and results. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled doctors yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your greedy corporations. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed physicians, to me. I give them the refuge. The happy home of Alexia HTC. Act now. Browse alexiahtc.com or call 240-350-1131.
Medical practice software is too old. Indeed, all the programs are built on MUMPS, technology of the 1950s, and the programs cost too much money. Epic and Cerner cost billions of dollars. Meditech costs thousands of dollars too. In fact, that's why we created AlexiaHTC.com, a new and free EMR/EHR for doctors. AlexiaHTC.com is built for HIPAA. Yes, magical one-screen technology, ease of use, quick charting, amazing e-prescribing, tight labs integration, multi-office difference, because we believe doctors and patients need a break today. Be the first to test drive AlexiaHTC.com. You have nothing to lose. You have everything to gain. Act now. Call 240-350-1131. Alexia Care Corporation at AlexiaHTC.com. Selling a service or a product? Need buyers? Use the African Nation TV as a channel to reach many viewers. Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131. Act today.